Spelling in English is deeply layered, and there are several systems of logic that contribute to building skills and strategies for spelling. Spelling has evolved to represent sounds, meaning, and history. Orthography is the set of conventions that apply to spelling, including punctuation and where we put the emphasis in words. There is usually a logical explanation drawn from one or more of these frameworks for understanding how words have been built. 50% of spelling is based on sound letter patterns, and another 37% have only one unexpected spelling within the word. 9% of words are spelled based on meaning, morphology, or word origin. Only 4% are actual oddities. However, phonics on its own is not enough to become proficient at reading and writing, although it is an important component reading and writing skill. While there are 44 sounds in English, there are over 250 spelling patterns. Most sounds can be spelled a number of ways. Learning which spelling applies in words is built by teaching patterns for spelling, as well as the patterns that convey meaning. Words with the same word origin often use the same spelling patterns. Knowing how words are built from prefixes, suffixes, and word bases supports an understanding of how words work. This creates rich neural knowledge of how words have been constructed, supporting the process of securing words in long-term memory. Research has found that students who have learnt the connections between speech sounds and written symbols, who perceive the recurring letter patterns in English syllables, and who know about meaningful word parts are better at remembering words. Words become part of long-term memory through the process of orthographic mapping. Orthographic mapping draws on our memory of how a word is spoken and links the sequence of sounds to the sequence of letter patterns that represent those sounds. With enough phonological awareness and phonics knowledge, learners can apply these skills to new words and be able to independently bond the sequences into long-term memory. Using terminology to describe key concepts in phonology, morphology, and etymology creates a shared and meaningful language about learning with adults and helps them build an understanding of the learning strategies being taught.
So Tim, today we're going to look at the E sound, spelling pattern EA. So
Right.
the EA is a digraph making one sound E. Do you remember what a digraph is?
Yes, two letters, one sound.
Excellent. So like on this grid here for the word beach,
Mm-hmm.
EA making E sound. Okay,
Right.
so
Okay.
can you spell the word beach?
B-E-A-C-H.
Ah, yeah, very good. Okay, and what's a beach to you?
A sandy strip with water and where you can swim.
Okay, very good. And what sounds do you hear when you say the word beach? So there's
So
word beach.
the
Mm-hmm.
E ch
Good, yep. So how many sounds is that?
3
3. B, E,
E
ch. Good. So what I'd like you to do is write the word beach. You can copy it into the grid there. So, okay. Good. So you heard 3 sounds, is that right?
That's
so
right.
just pop the 3 in the box there. How many sounds? So we write 1 sound per box. So
Right.
what's
Okay.
going to go in the first
So
box?
B
Yeah, good,
E so E A
good, and good.
C H.
Okay, what's the tricky part in that word that we're looking at today?
Oh well, E A.
Yeah.
is E.
Great. Excellent. Now, when we spell a word, we use the letter names, but it helps to remember things like digraphs if we link them together. So we say B-E-A-C-H.
B-E-A-C-H.
Yeah, and by putting together like that, our brain's more likely to remember them.
Yep.
Okay, so I've got here some more words that use the same spelling pattern, the EA. So I'd like you to work through and do some of these on the grid here.
Okay.
So what's
Each.
the each, yeah.
A-C-H.
Okay, so how many sounds?
2 sounds.
2? Yeah,
Each.
okay. Good, excellent. So it's got 4 letters, 2 sounds.
sounds,
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
So,
E. Good.
So it's one sound.
Yep.
And ch.
Good. And we looked at ch last time, didn't we? When we talked about your work in the cafe. Excellent. Try writing a little story, because spelling is so much also about writing. So what I'd like you to do is write a little story that uses EA words that make the E sound. And you've got some here that you can also use in your story. Okay, Tim, so how did you go with your homework? I see you've done a bit of writing there. Would you like to read it for me?
Yeah,
Please?
certainly.
Great.
On a sunny day, Dean went to the beach. He was not far away, so the beach was in easy reach.
Oh, excellent.
Dean loves to swim. He is so good he can teach other people.
Excellent.
Teaching should systematically target gaps in knowledge of the 100 most common patterns first, although an adult will probably also have questions about words drawn from their life as well. Words must be analysed to enable mapping, and practice in mapping letters to sounds in words is a key strategy for spelling practice. Any instructional method that takes attention away from the sequences of letters in words will interfere with efficient orthographic mapping. Even when a learner is still working on building knowledge of the most common spelling patterns, they can still start to decode longer words. Analysing longer words begins with breaking the word into syllables and then breaking these down into the individual sounds, so sound cues can be used for spelling. Analysing longer words can begin with breaking the word into syllables and then breaking these down into the individual sounds, so sound cues can be used for spelling. Steps include: analyse the word to teach the pattern. Provide examples of other words following the same pattern. Practice reading and writing words using this pattern, both in activities and applied to everyday life contexts.
So Tim, we're going to be looking at syllables today. Syllables, and you might have heard the word before, like the beats in a word.
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
so when we say words, they have syllables. And syllables are defined by vowel sounds. Every syllable has one vowel sound. Okay?
Right. Okay.
So, a couple of examples. Let's do the word time. Time.
Time.
How many vowel sounds in time?
One.
Time.
One.
Yeah.
Yep.
So one syllable.
Yep.
And it helps if we chop the syllables as well, because some of the words have lots of syllables and it gets a bit hard to break them down. Okay, time has one syllable. What about bookcase?
Case.
Bookcase.
Two.
Yeah, good. Okay. And finishing?
Finishing. Two.
Okay, try chopping it. You chop it with me.
Finishing.
Finishing.
Yeah, three.
Three, yeah, okay. So you can see how chopping them helps. Okay, so many words like beach, which we looked at last time, have only one syllable because they only have one sound, vowel sound. Remember, it was a digraph,
Yes.
two vowels making one sound. So
Yeah.
so beach, one syllable. So syllables can be made up of vowels that are on their own. Vowels are part of a vowel digraph, like beach. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is sort some of these words into this grid according to how many syllables they have. So you have a go at that.
Okay. Paper.
Okay.
P-A-P-E-R.
How many sounds?
Paper.
How many
Two.
syllables?
Two
Yep,
sounds.
good.
Yep.
Two syllables.
Two syllables.
Part of the reason for breaking words into syllables is because it helps us isolate the sounds within each syllable. So we break a big word down into small syllables, and then we work out the spelling for each of the sounds in each syllable. So I'd like you to look at the word fantastic. Big word. Okay,
Yep.
we ready for it?
I'll give it a go.
Okay,
Yep.
so how many syllables do you hear when you say fantastic?
Fantastic.
Okay, so what's
Three.
the first syllable?
Three. Fan.
Okay, so how do you think you spell fan? Fan.
F-I.
Good. Okay, then you put a dot because that's the first
Oh,
syllable.
yes.
Next syllable.
Tas.
Tas. Yeah.
Tas.
Good. And the last syllable.
Is tick.
Tick.
T. C. Dot.
Good. Okay. See how it was much easier to
Yeah.
work out the sounds of each syllable than trying to do the whole word in one go.
And to spell it.
Yeah. Well done.
20% of vowels are not clearly pronounced in the unstressed syllables of longer words. When this happens, there is no good sound cue for what vowel needs to be represented by the spelling. The unstressed vowel sound, which is called a schwa, sounds like When this happens at the end of words, like in the word teacher, there are a number of ways this can be spelled, and word analysis strategies with a focus on morphology can be applied to learn these patterns. When the unstressed vowel sound appears in the middle of a word, it is usually spelt with a single vowel. The order of frequency that these are used is A and E, followed by I, O, and then U. Another strategy for working out which vowel to use draws on morphological understandings. Different forms of the word which emphasize different syllables in the word can reveal the vowel sound that needs to be used.
Well, Tim, are you up for a challenge?
I am. I'll give it a go.
Excellent. Because today we're going to look at the most difficult part of spelling.
Right.
It's the unaccented, weak vowel sound, which is called a schwa, which appears in the middle of many multisyllable words in English. It's very indistinct, very hard to hear, so correspondingly hard to spell. Okay, so as an example, the word family. Can you say family?
Family.
Yeah, so
Family.
family is how we say it.
Yeah.
What's that? Okay, so the trick is we look for a related word. So a related word to family is familiar. Familiar. Familiar.
Yep.
So now let's look at that second syllable where the sound is in family. In familiar, ill. It's a clear it sound, isn't it?
Yep.
So that tells us then that the sound in family is spelled with an I. Yeah, great. All right,
Good.
so I'm going to get you to do one now. I'd like you to think about the word history. History. Yeah. What's a related word to history?
So I'd pick historical.
Okay, so
Historical.
so what's the sound spelled?
It's an O.
Oh, historical.
Historical.
It's easy to hear, isn't it?
Yes,
so
yeah.
you now know to go back to history and spell it with an
It's
O in that
O-R-Y.
second syllable.
Yeah, right.
Excellent. Okay, so we've got here a table with some other examples. I mean, there's many, many examples we could choose. Let's look at another one. Let's look at, well, you choose one.
Yeah. Might pick telephone.
Okay, telephone.
Telephone.
Yeah. So what's a related word? Oh, we've got them listed here, actually.
Teleconference.
So say that again.
Teleconference.
Yes, conference. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really gives you the spell, the sound, doesn't it, and the letter. So E. Yeah.
So telephone.
Yeah.
Telephone. Yep. It's an E.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even though we don't say telephone,
No.
we know to put an E in that
Yep.
second syllable.
Yeah. No.
So that's the trick. Look for a related word
Yep.
to the word that has the schwa sound, and it will give you the clearer sound and therefore the spelling that's required for that single vowel that appears in the multisyllable word.
It's really helpful.
It is, yeah.
No, thank you.